Well, good to have you. Wonderful, wonderful people. I have been very impressed with all of you. So when Carrie asked if I'd take a moment with you, I was like, yeah, I'd love to talk to these guys. That's great. I've watched you and your growth with the company with great interest, and just absolutely delighted that you're here. And would love to see you just thrive here and have great success and be the leaders of the future for the O.C. Tanner Company. I think that would be wonderful. And these two guys aren't going anywhere, but I am. They're going in a few years. But I hope you have great careers at the O.C. Tanner Company. I wish you well. And so Carrie asked me to talk about the Shingo Model, but also just kind of, and my philosophy of work and leadership really ties right nicely with the Shingo Model. So I'm just going to I'm going to give you not an hour anymore, but 46 minutes of just kind of my thinking, but it's not going to be like lecture style. I kind of got this a dialogue kind of planned, so it's kind of interactive, right? O.C. Tanner is the only company I've ever worked for. I came here as an intern during MBA school. I worked in marketing, and I was there for and then I came back and worked full time. I'm not from Utah. I'm from Tennessee, and my wife's not from Utah either. So we came out to Utah to go to Brigham Young University, but we never thought we'd live in Utah. But all of our kids are born here, and this is home to them. But I got this job, and it's just kind of kept us here. So here we are. And it's kind of weird after living here for 40 years that I would say, yeah, I'm not really from here. And it's like, I know that's weird. But I don't know, maybe 40 years from now you'll still say, yeah, I'm not really from Utah. I'm from Colombia or from Vietnam or whatever. I worked in marketing for about 4 years, and then they posted a job in manufacturing for a change facilitator. And I kind of wanted to do something different, but I went for it, I grabbed it, and we've changed everything about the way we do business here. And I'm super satisfied, super pleased with what has happened and the results we've attained, because the measurements, or the change and improvements in measurements, are just off the charts good. But the thing that I care the most about is the way I think our people have grown, and just the change in the way our people were from before to where they are now. It brings me great satisfaction, a ton of joy. So have you seen the Shingo Model before? The whole point is getting all employees aligned, where everybody feels the same way about what we're trying to accomplish. And the thing we want everybody aligned to is value for the customer. You see that at the top there? We want everybody thinking about, why do they write us a check? You know, in the end, we do all this work and then they pay us for it. That's kind of a good feeling, to do something that somebody wants to write you a check for, and that what you're doing is valued by them. But the question is, what do they really want from you, and why are they writing the check? Because if you understand the value that they're seeking, then you can work on giving them more value, and we try to do it with less effort. You know, how do we increase that value, make it even more powerful? It's like, can I write you a bigger check? We're like, yes, you may. But it actually took us less effort to do it. It was actually easier because we found a better way to provide the greater value. That's the whole point of the Shingo Model. And I like it a lot because it gets every person, instead of thinking about, my job is I push this piece of metal against a brush. That's what I do all day. I don't want them thinking that. I want them thinking, I'm bringing out beauty, right? Or I'm creating this, or I'm doing that, because that's what the customer values. I think it makes the job more meaningful. And then think systemically. I know I skipped one. That was on purpose. I'm going to go back. Thinking systemically means that instead of just thinking about the one task I'm working on right now, I think about how this fits the whole system. The whole system that it takes to create value. The whole system, I want to think about all of it, not just this process. And I want to see this process as how it fits in the whole. And so any improvements I make to this process would not just make this process better, but would create more value and make everybody's job easier. So very cool that you rotate from job to job and that our team members do multiple jobs. Because 30 years ago, when I first came to manufacturing, everyone only knew how to do one thing. And they really had no perception at all what anyone else was doing or why. And that's not good. It's much better that you understand the whole piece and how this process I'm working on right now adds value to everything. That is thinking systemically. If you're thinking systemically about value to the customer, then you're going to make really good decisions, better decisions, than if you're just thinking about a process. Does that make sense? And then the constancy of purpose. What is the purpose of the OC Tanner? What is our purpose statement on the strategy map? Chief?
We help people thrive.
Yeah, we help people thrive at work. What a powerful statement. What a great calling. That I'm going to do stuff all day long that helps the world's employees thrive at work. So I was, one of my favorite stories, maybe you've heard me tell this before, but that's, when you talk to me, you get the same stories over and over again. I was working behind this woman named Feli Salazar. She was from the Philippines. And little tiny gal, so I was like, I was looking over the top of her, watching her screen. She was working over on one of the watch lines over here. And she was kind of bouncing, kind of humming a little bit. It was very enjoyable to be near her. And she finished the job, and she handed off. She reached for the next one, and I said, "Philly, how you doing today?" She says, "I'm great." I said, well, I can see you're great. Tell me, why are you great? And I thought she might say something about, her grandkids or what she had for breakfast or something. I had this grapefruit. I don't know what she was going to say. But what she said was, I just finished a 15-year award for, and she read me the guy's name. And when he gets this, it's going to make his day. And I thought, man, that's awesome. She totally buys into this constancy of purpose. She's working, she's constantly thinking about helping the workers of the world thrive. That's where her head is. So I realized, man, what do you think? Do I need to worry about her quality? I don't, right? Do I need to worry if she's going to drive some nice improvements? Do I need to worry why she came to work today? I can trust her, right? Her head is in a really good spot. So this constancy of purpose is a big deal. Now you take all three of those, if you've got everybody aligned to value for the right reason and thinking about the whole picture, boom, that's powerful. Very powerful. And that's enterprise alignment. And I think we have done as good or a better job than anybody in the world at getting our people aligned. I think the OC Tanner employees are very aligned according to this model. So once you get there, then the idea is you would continuously improve towards that model. You would create more value, stronger purpose, think more systemically. That's really what the model is calling for. And we're going to come back to continuous improvement. The fact is, you can't have a culture of continuous improvement
You're right, you can't.
without the Shingo model. You can't have a culture of continuous improvement if you don't have this foundation that matters, the cultural enablers. And there's two principles here that really matter. One is respect every individual, and the other is lead with humility. So we have companies who come here from all over the world to see what we've done. And they pay. They pay to come here. They pay a lot of money to come here and watch you work, which is cool. I think that's very cool. And we'll be talking about the model, and they'll say repeatedly, I hear things like, yeah, we created this continuous improvement program and everybody was so excited about it. We ran it for like 2 months and then it died. I don't know why it died. And I said, I know why it died. Your culture ate it up. Your culture chewed it up and spit it out. All it took was for one person to say, hey, I have an idea, and 3 other people to roll their eyes and, oh my gosh. Right? That disrespect kills a culture of continuous improvement. Or for a leader to say, no, we already tried that. That won't work. What else you got? It's like, I'm not going to share anything. Right? It just kills the culture. So this foundation is very important. So I want to explore this a little bit more. So somebody read this for us. Who will read this? Anybody want to read this? Tia.
We respect every individual because we believe everyone has intrinsic value and untapped potential.
Okay, untapped potential. What is that? Untapped potential. What does that mean? Do you think?
Potential that hasn't been found.
Yeah, I've got more to give. It's just I haven't done it yet. There's more in me. What am I waiting for? What do you think? Why do people have untapped potential?
They don't know they have it.
Maybe they don't. Maybe it's waiting to be found. Maybe it's waiting for a leader to say, do you realize how well you do this? You're like, no, do I? Yeah, when you bring this up in a team meeting, it changes the whole discussion. You're like, oh, that's my potential, right? Could be they haven't found it. Why else? Why else might they have untapped potential?
Maybe they're scared.
Maybe they're scared. Yeah, maybe I've been beat down before. Maybe there's a real reason to be scared, and I'm just a little bit hesitant to open it up. Yeah, so again, waiting for a good leader. This is, I'm talking to leaders, right? Potential leaders, future leaders, current leaders. You're just waiting for somebody to make it safe, to make it feel like I can explore that. Any other thoughts on why someone might have untapped potential? Maybe it's fear, maybe it's unawareness.
Tell you where I
Carrie?
where
Yeah.
leader that I've learned is if I don't take the time to know my people, then
Yeah.
I don't know what their passion is. So
Yeah.
I bypass them on assignments or something where they could bring their potential out and do a better job than what I think they do.
Yeah, yeah. And once you know them, if you know them, then you can kind of bring that out. You can nurture that, right? Maybe invite them to bring that talent to work, because that's good. Maybe they're just waiting to be invited to bring it. Yeah. Okay, great. I like it. Untapped potential. What is intrinsic value? Intrinsic isn't a word that we typically use in daily conversation. Anybody know what it means? Yeah, because we don't use it in daily conversation. It's not like, but it's one of those words. The only reason they use it is because it's so packed with meaning. Intrinsic refers to my natural self. It's inherent in me. It's who I am. So what the statement is saying that everyone is inherently valuable. Everyone. Now, I ride the train to work, and there's some oddballs on the train, right? And between here and the train, there's some, it's interesting society. But I always think to myself, this guy or this gal, they got something that if I got to know them, I would be impressed with. I genuinely believe that. I don't believe there is anybody who I cross paths with on a day-to-day basis who, if I got to know them, would have something to teach me. The question is, do you believe that? Do you believe that other people have intrinsic value? And I hope you do. If not, think about it. Think about whether you have something to learn from other people. And in my experience, it's usually just a matter of getting to know them. The more you get to know somebody, the more you talk with them, the more you connect with them, the more you start to see maybe what they're bringing to the table. Now, I would suggest that as a team leader, or as a manager, or as a director, or as a VP, the people you work with do not all have equal capabilities. Some people are more gifted than others. And so I have learned not to expect everyone to rise to a certain point. But I do expect everyone to rise to their best. That's what I can expect of people, is that you would do your best. And I understand the best is going to be at different places for different people. I'm okay with that. Because if everyone's trying and doing their best, I got all the time in the world for them. Right? Do you? That's the question. Do you think of people that way? I hope you do. So, let me ask you this question. If you believe that everyone has intrinsic value and untapped potential, why would that be foundationally important for continuous improvement and for creating value for the customer? If people think it's safe, and if they think you value them, and if they think you're interested in their opinion, then they'll venture to share their thought. If any of those are no, I don't think it's safe, I don't think she or he cares, I don't think they want to hear from me, well, I'll just keep it to myself. And I think it's critical if you want people to be able to share. So, yeah, without this, you can't have continuous improvement, I don't think. Let me ask you this question. Let's say an organization believed in this. What sort of behaviors would you expect to see from a vice president like me in an organization that believed this was true? What would you expect me to do?
Have gratitude.
You expect me to be grateful to people, right? I think that's really good. Good. What else? What else would you expect from me, a VP, who believed this? If you thought the organization believed it, what would you expect?
Interacting with everybody.
Yeah, you'd think that I would be intensely interested in every person, right? Be genuinely interested in everybody, right? Not fake, right? Pretending. Yeah, good. What else? What else would you expect?
What they do.
Oh, you'd know that, right? You'd be mindful of what they do. If I had heard Jason complimenting somebody, right? Saying, boy, so-and-so sure does a great job, you would think the executive would be tuned into that, right? Be hearing it. Keep track of that. That's good to know, right? Yeah, good. What about from a team leader? What behavior would you expect from a team leader in an organization that believes this? The same, right? Wouldn't you expect the same behavior? You'd expect a genuine interest, pay attention. You look like you were about to say something. I don't know if you were, or you're just thinking it. No, I don't want to say anything. Yeah, that's fair. Okay. What behavior would you expect in an organization that doesn't respect every individual? What would that look like? Say it again.
No communication.
No communication, right? Yeah, don't tell you what's going on, right? What else?
A lot of bad talking on everybody.
Yeah, for sure, right? Little cliques, yeah, keep them out, talk bad about them or whatever. Those other guys.
Can't expect like The Simpsons. There's Mr. Burns in his office and he has
Yeah.
a camera and the last minute, who's that?
Yeah. Doesn't know anybody. That's what you'd expect, right? Okay. So, which organization do you want to be in? Pretty easy, right? Yeah. Well, who has responsibility to create that? Everyone has to do it, right? It can't be any one of us, because no one of us has a big enough bandwidth to make it happen for everybody. It has to be all of us, right? Not just up and coming powerful leaders, but every team member has to be part of that thinking, right? Everyone has to be that way. So, when you see somebody who's not following this behavior, it's worth talking about it. Not shame on you. I was standing right on the other side of this a wall right here one day. We were honoring somebody in engineering, I think. And I was standing next to a maintenance tech, and somebody said something nice about the engineer, and the maintenance tech went, they let out this long breath, and I could just feel the eye roll. I looked over, and I saw the eye roll ending. And I asked him afterwards. Now, there's no point in me reprimanding him. Hey, none of that. That doesn't help, right? But I just asked him, hey, am I right? I thought that when someone so whatever, did you roll your eyes? It felt like you rolled your eyes. And he was like, oh, I did. It was obvious, wasn't it? I said, yeah, it was right out there. What's going on? Anyway, it just led to a really good conversation where he admitted that, I've got a problem with him, and I struggle and whatever. And then we can talk about trying to fix it, right? How can I help you? What do you want to do? And anyway, I think we need to have dialogues about these sort of things. That's what's healthy. I think it's important that, I wouldn't be judgmental about his idea any more than I would be judgmental about his character or the ways. There's no point in me being judgmental about the maintenance tech rolling his eyes and saying to myself, well, okay, he's got a problem. How does that help anything? I'm talking about a person for whom I believe he has intrinsic value and untapped potential. How do I help him bring that out? And certainly confronting him and challenging him and threatening him doesn't help with intrinsic value and untapped potential, right? Let's go to humility. All growth requires vulnerability. We lead with humility because growth requires vulnerability. What does that mean? Growth requires vulnerability.
When you're saying you feel vulnerable, you'll open up more.
Yeah, okay. As opposed to if you just stay on the safe side of stuff,
You're never going to say anything.
you're really never you're not putting anything out there. You're staying in the protective zone where nothing happens, no learning happens. And if you want to learn, if you want to experience, you got to take a step into the unknown. If you just stay right in here where you know all the answers, well, you're just going to stick with the answers you already have. If you want to learn something new, you got to step out a little bit. Ooh, it's uncomfortable out here. Ah. Somebody might see that I don't know something out here. That's okay. Am I willing to be vulnerable like that? Because if I'm not willing to have anybody see me fail, then I'm never going to take that step out there. But if I feel like I'm okay failing, I tell everybody else it's okay to fail. Why wouldn't I be okay failing? So if I'm willing to step out there and make myself vulnerable, then I can grow. Does that make sense? I think once you have jumped a little bit higher, then from then on you can jump that higher bit. And then you jump a little bit higher, and all of a sudden, it's not long before you're looking down at what your higher mark used to be. You're like, I'm regularly quite a bit better than I used to be. But it takes a little bit of challenge to yourself. So all growth requires vulnerability. We lead with humility. So if I'm going to make myself vulnerable, then I have to admit to everybody that, I don't know anything about this. I don't know anything about that. You guys know this more than I do. Tell me what you think we should do. That's exactly the opposite of where we were when I first came to manufacturing. When I first moved over, the manager knew everything. They were the longest tenured person. They'd risen up through the ranks, and they became the manager because they were the smartest person at the process. Well, there's no vulnerability there. Just everyone shut up and do what I tell you to do, and we'll be fine. That's kind of the management style. Is that the way we manage today? No. We purposely move management around so they don't know anything. We purposely move them to keep them in their uncomfortable zone, where they can keep learning. Because we believe the people who are best suited to make improvements to the job are the people who are closest to the job. The manager's job isn't to know the job best. The manager's job is to know how to help you who knows the job best do your best work. You know, what do you need from me? So when I coach you, when I observe you, when I watch you, I'm not thinking about how to fix you. I'm thinking about where are you in this journey? What do you need to learn? What else could I teach you to make you be a more creative problem solver? What problem-solving tools could I teach you? What else in your thinking can I expose you to so that you have a broader band of tools from which you can approach any problem? That's what a manager should be doing. And that's what a team leader needs to be stepping towards doing, is learning how to help, how to grow, how to teach. You know, we used to be in a lot of different departments, and we took apart the departments and put all the processes in the cells. And as we were doing that, everything got out of control. It got to the point where I wasn't controlling it. It was people were just making it happen. It was happening so fast. Whenever a team would see an open space, they move into it and get closer, and it was chaotic, but it was powerful. And one day we were walking down this hall right over here, and we walked past this space where the packaging printer is now, and something new was going on in there. And I was walking with my boss at the time, so I was the VP of manufacturing. He was in my current role, the executive VP. It was Harold. And we're walking past, I look in there and I was like, what the heck? I had no idea what was going on in there. And he saw me and he said to me, hey Gary, what's going on in there? And he wanted me to make myself vulnerable. Because when I said, yeah, I have no idea what's going on there, he patted me on the back. He said, attaboy, that's what I love about you. You know, I can come back later and ask, what is going on in here? You know, it's like, but that's the power of turning it over and trusting people. You see why this is foundationally important? And I spent a disproportionate amount of time talking about this compared to the other things, because frankly, none of this matters if you don't have this. And as a leader, this is where you need to live. This is a tool set and a mindset that you can tap into, but if you're not right here, you're not going to be as effective as you want to be. Now, when I first came across to manufacturing, people were basically, nobody said a word. Everybody just sat quietly at their stations and did what they were told. And it took a long time to get people to talk and to start talking about what was going on, and to get managers to shut up and to listen and to try to help instead of correcting. And but people really stepped up. People stepped up faster than management stepped up. People like grabbed hold of this idea of, you're asking me to have some ownership for my work. Like, yeah. And people are like, I like that. I like to own my work. You're asking me to make decisions for my day. Yeah. People are like, I like that. I like having autonomy. That's what people feel like. I like having control of my life. I don't want to go to work and not have control. I want to kind of be in charge of myself. I'm an adult. I want to be in charge of myself. And that's what we tried to create here. Now, it was hard work to get management to stop controlling. People stepped up very quickly. And then most of my work after that was with management, getting them to tone down. And now we're blessed with, the incredible management, I think. There's not a single one of them who isn't doing their best, who isn't trying really hard to be the right type of manager. And I love that. I love that. But about 5 years into our journey, my office used to be right at the end of this hall right here. And I was sitting in my office at the change of shift. So it was about this time of day. And first shift was going home, second shift was coming in. And I was just kind of saying goodbye to people, and whatever. I was watching them leave out, and all of a sudden it occurred to me, how powerful they looked. I was like, wait a minute. Look at the confidence in their faces. Look at the sense of determination that is in their faces. It just struck me, and then I just started looking at everybody and realized they all have it. They all look like they're in charge of their lives, and I realized that they're not just leaving, they're not just making improvements at work. They're walking out that door, and they're going to make things better at home, and in their communities, and in their schools, and in their churches, wherever they're going after work. That's not why I was asking what you do after work. That's not related. But whatever they're doing, I'm convinced that they're leaving here thinking, I'm in charge of my life. I get to control my life, and I can make things happen with my life. I'm not a victim. Things don't just happen to me. I get some control here. And I loved that sense that we had gotten to that point. That was early. That was, like I say, 5-6 years into our journey. And everybody's just gotten better since then. The amount of power that's in our people is astonishing. And when people come here to visit from all over the world, I ask them, what did you come to see? Because they always say, I hear your coaching is great. I want to see standard strategy deployment. I want to see your improvement system. And they want to see some systems. But everybody says, I've been told that I need to get on the floor and talk to your people. And why do people tell them that? Why is that what they heard? You're going to go see Tanner? Man, get on the floor and talk to people. Why do they say that? Because you're awesome. Yes, Jeanette, you are. You are awesome. I think they don't have this sense in their minds that people can be this powerful. They're still in this old mindset of we got to tell people what to do. If we want to make this happen, we got to tell people how to do it. And there's no power there, I don't think. I think the power comes from painting a vision and letting you execute, letting you figure it out. And people come back from, I say, go talk to anybody. Talk to anybody you want to, any team, any person. Ask them anything you want, because I know it doesn't matter. Whoever they talk to, they're going to come back going, I've never seen anything like that in my life. The ownership, the accountability, the sense of camaraderie, the good feelings, the laughing, the joking, the smiling. I want people like yours. That's what they always say. I say, you can't have it because you don't believe it. If you don't believe it, you can't have it. So I just wanted to tell you that out of all the things we've accomplished, and again, the results are astonishing. The amount of money we've saved this company, the amount of value we've created for our customers, it's off the charts. But it pales in comparison to the growth of the people. And the thing I care the most about, when they kick me out of here 3.5 years from now, the thing I will smile the most about is what I saw in terms of people being able to accomplish things. And I believe that that's the most important thing about leadership, is what do you help your people become? Because I think that's also the most rewarding part of leadership. I mean, you can hit the rate, you can increase your efficiency, you can ship great product, you can increase your margin. All those matter. I mean, keeping a business going, those all matter, but they don't mean anything compared to powerful people. And so as a leader, I hope, you got all this stuff you got to do. I know, I look at the stuff you guys got to do and I think, man, I don't know how they do all that stuff. I'm glad I don't have anything to do. Yeah. I see what you do and I think, man, this is a ton of work. Don't lose track of why you're doing it. because you're not doing it because it's on a check sheet that you got to click off every day or write a date next to. You're doing it because it's meant to help you build people. It's meant to help you grow and develop people. And just always keep that in mind, because if you do that, that's where your motivation will come from. I have a standard worksheet where I keep track. I have to do things every day, right? And I'm very good about filling out my standard worksheet, and I'm pretty good about doing the stuff I'm supposed to do every day. But that's not how I gauge my success. I gauge my success on lives touched, on people elevated, on energy in the factory, on enthusiasm and ownership and accountability. That's what excites me about coming to work. And I hope that's what will excite you. I hope that that's what you will see. That's why I want to be a leader. You know, and someday I want to be a group leader like Carrie, because you think about the characteristics that you value, that you cherish, or Jason, or you think about the personality of Adam. You think there's some things there that I want to be like. That's good. More important than checking off the list. That makes sense? You got to check off the list. Don't get me wrong. You got to do the stuff, but don't get lost in thinking that's the job. The job is people. You're a people leader, and it's a cool job. It's the best job. Nothing better, I think, than that. So let me leave you with one last thought along that line, is that there is no value in judging somebody for what you're seeing. The only value comes from trying to think of ways to help them. And judging doesn't help anybody. It's pushing your expectations of what should be on somebody else. That just doesn't help. Let's just meet people where they are. Help them be their best self. So I've already said this, but I think you are all wonderful people. I'm very impressed with you. I'm delighted that you would take an hour and spend it with me. It's actually very humbling that you would spend time to listen to me. I can't even get my dog to listen to me. So I wish you well. Good luck. Thank you very much.
Okay, so one of the cultural enablers from the Shingo model is respect every individual. And that's what makes a lot of this content so powerful, and the messages that are shared. And if you enjoyed this video, hit the like button.
Absolutely. And if you want to see more just like it, where we go more into depth about this, please go ahead and subscribe to our channel.
Let's see here.